I want to test my minister. Please answer the question. Pak Tom.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apa kabar Sahabat Hendris? Semoga Sahabat Hendris dimanapun berada tetap sehat, tetap semangat. Seperti biasa Sahabat Hendris, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Hendris Media. Ini saya menemukan video bagaimana hebatnya Pak Tom Lembong ini menggunakan bahasa Inggris sehingga saat diwawancari media asing gitu. Dan saya jujur aja melihat kemampuan bahasa Inggris Pak Tom Lembong ini, cara ngomongnya, kejelasan speakingnya ketika dia ngomong bahasa Indonesia itu agak kaku gitu ya. Ternyata memang Pak Tom Lembong ini berusaha belajar berbahasa Indonesia yang baik dan benar. Dan ketika dia ngomong bahasa Inggris itu luar biasa. Pronunciation-nya jelas banget ya. Ayo kita dengarkan saat wawancara Pak Tom Lembong dengan media asing. Check it out.
Indonesia seems to be stuck at 5%. The president wants 7%. Why isn't it happening?
I wouldn't say that we're stuck, Haslinda, but I would acknowledge that we have yet to hit that inflection point, right? We have not yet ignited a new cycle. We haven't hit ignition yet, unlike some of the other countries around the region.
What will it take for the ignition to get started?
I think we have to appreciate the enormity of the drag on the Indonesian economy. I think number one, we never fully appreciated just how exposed we were to commodities, right? In my view, we underappreciated the indirect effects on financial liquidity and purchasing power from what on the surface looks like a small or manageably sized commodity sector. The second thing that we never fully appreciated is the size of our infrastructure gap. As President Jokowi just pointed out, when we upgraded the airport in Manado, North Sulawesi, suddenly the number of Chinese tourists to Manado went from 12,000 per year to 12,000 per month. So infrastructure made all the difference, and upgrading the airport was a small thing. But to me, that's a perfect story or illustration of how critical is infrastructure.
Indonesia needs billions of dollars of foreign investment, and the World Bank says what stands in the way is uncertain regulations. We talk about flip-flopping within the mining sector. We talk about how changes were made to the negative investment list, for instance, and investors are not comfortable with that. Will that change?
I think we definitely admit that the top complaint of investors is regulatory uncertainty, right? As many people know, I joined the bureaucracy, I joined the cabinet 2.5 years ago from the private sector, and I'm quite startled by how underdeveloped our policy-making processes are, right? So the way we formulate policy has fallen very far behind, the cutting edge, if you will. And the president's aware, the president's very, very aware. We started to put more discipline, more procedure into the policymaking process so that ministers don't willy-nilly just issue decrees with no prior notice and no transition periods, for example. But I think at the root of it is, I think we now have no choice but to move towards bureaucratic reform, right? Because the president is trying to move the bureaucracy from the mindset of a ruler, right, of an authority that tries to regulate and rule everything, to the mindset of a servant, of a public servant. How can we help? How can we serve? That's a very huge shift in mindset from a hierarchical, almost feudal, top-down, ruler mindset to a public servant, how can we help kind of mindset. That's a huge transition.
I mean, in your own words, you said that there's too much bad policy around. When you take a look at the implications in the market, we have a rupiah that has been smacked, one of the worst performers in Asia this year, and a stock market that's lagging behind all its Asian counterparts. What message would you like to send investors, and how will all of that be rectified?
I would say that the headline figures don't tell the whole story, right? So, 5% GDP growth, that's an average number that masks big turmoil underneath it, big transformation in the economy. As President Jokowi just pointed out, our tourism sector is growing 25% per year. At the same time that certain mining sectors, certain commodity sectors are shrinking 15% per year. You don't see that looking at just a 5% average. Or, for example, the rupiah. Obviously it's a convenient headline figure, the exchange rate. But for example, it doesn't tell the whole story about booming e-commerce and online transaction and fintech, financial technology. So I think, I guess one answer, what are solutions? I think technology is a big solution, is a big answer. I think, to be very blunt, not the most diplomatic thing for me to say, but a lot of people are moving online. They're escaping excessive government regulation and bad policy by just moving online, where regulatory reach is much more difficult, right? And that's a danger. That's why there's such urgency to deregulating, because if we don't deregulate fast enough, if we don't make it convenient and friendly enough to be in the formal sector of the economy, people will move to the informal sector, and increasingly there can be a very sophisticated informal sector, which is online.
Truth be told, there is suboptimal policy. Where is that being reflected the most?
Oh gosh.
Where do you begin?
No, I think it would be unfair to highlight any particular ones, because I think we're all guilty across many ministries and agencies. Again, it's a system-wide problem. And again, it is rooted in this mindset where we're the ruler and you are the ruled. And that's just a outdated, obsolete mindset. Government needs to be public servant and supportive, and rather than talking a lot, we need to be great listener, and that's what President Jokowi is. But again, it takes time, but personally, I think there's been startling progress in a mere 3 years. I think President Jokowi has really changed the tone, changed the discussion, changed the flavor and the frequency, of the atmosphere around bureaucracy and authority.
Earlier I talked about the weakening rupiah. Which sectors in particular are being exposed the most, do you think?
Well, so far it's been manageable, and one underappreciated strength of the Indonesian economy is probably how balanced it is, how diversified it is. Look, for example, foreign direct investment is running about 20% higher compared to before President Jokowi took office, right? And that's an annual flow. I can't take all the credit because, frankly, when the currency depreciated 25%, that made investment in Indonesia cheaper and more attractive, right? So I would say market forces are working, and the economy will respond, right? If we need to have more consumption, the rupiah will probably strengthen, boosting domestic consumers, right? But if we need to boost our exports, the currency will probably weaken, and that will support the export sector. The good news is Indonesia has all of them, right? It's a very well-balanced and well-diversified economy, and notwithstanding poor policy on many fronts, it's still a surprisingly flexible economy. So the economy does respond reasonably well to shifts in exchange rates, to shifts in interest rates, and other market signals.
Ketika Pak Jokowi tidak bisa menjawab pertanyaan, malah dilemparkan ke Pak Tom Lembong di sini.
What are some of the reasons that it's been slow? Do you still believe in public-private partnerships? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to test my minister. Please answer the question. Pak Tom. But don't speak longer than my speech.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Talbot, Congressman Sherman. Ladies and gentlemen,
dalam momen ini Jokowi ditanya soal public-private partnership, namun Jokowi meminta Tom Lembong untuk menjawabnya dengan dalih ingin menguji menterinya. Tom pun menjawab bahwa Indonesia sangat mendorong keterlibatan swasta lewat PPP untuk pembangunan.
Pembahasan mengenai ditangkapnya Tom Lembong. Dari awal Tom Lembong ditangkap, ini kan sangat menghebohkan publik gitu ya. Tapi dipertanyakan banyak pihak ya, dan netizen yang biasanya kan kalau ada orang yang tertangkap korupsi itu tidak ada yang membela gitu loh. Nah, beda dengan Tom Lembong ini, terkesan banyak pihak yang membela Tom Lembong. Pak Anies Baswedan, temannya Pak Tom Lembong, netizen itu terkesan membela. Karena apa? Karena dari awal kasus ini itu terkesan gerusa-gerusu ya, buru-buru, ada muatan politis gitu ya, terkesan dipaksakan. Dan ini ada pendapat dari ex Kapolri Agroseno ya, dan sama, saya juga pemikiran begitu. Ini sama seperti kasusnya Peggy Setiawan, kasus Vina Cirebon. Saya juga ngikutin ya kan. Peggy Setiawan itu kan dulu salah tangkap ya. Itu kan dibela oleh para netizen. Padahal bukan Peggy yang itu, tapi dibuatlah skenario menangkap Peggy Setiawan ya. Banyak banget masyarakat yang membela. Akhirnya apa? Benar saja, ditangkap, belum ada barang bukti. Setelah ditangkap baru kemudian ditemukan barang bukti, dan barang buktinya pun dikritisi netizen. Nah, sama dengan Tom Lembong ini ya. Tom Lembong ini tidak ada bukti yang didapat, aliran dana, tiba-tiba ditangkap saja, dan sekarang baru mau dicari bukti-buktinya, ditanyain surat-surat lah dan segala macamnya. Jadi mirip-mirip sama. Makanya ada sebagian banyak orang yang ingin membela kasus Tom Lembong ini karena diduga ya banyak muatan politis, dan persis seperti kasusnya Peggy Setiawan, kasus Vina Cirebon, salah tangkap. Mungkin juga seperti itu ya kan. Dan ini kita perhatikan kuasa hukum Pak Tom Lembong itu sepertinya melawan ini apa yang ditersangkakan kepada Pak Tom Lembong ya. Karena luar biasa nih, orang luar biasanya Pak Tom Lembong ini ya, itu dikriminalisasi demi kepentingan segelintir orang kan 2023. Jadi memang sejak Pak Tom Lembong ini jadi co-kaptennya Timnas Amin, itu sudah diulik-ulik, sudah dicoba untuk ditersangkakan ya kan. Katanya dilaporkan oleh oknum. Siapakah segelintir oknum tersebut sehingga melaporkan? Lalu bagaimana dengan kasus-kasus yang lain yang jelas-jelas terbukti ada, barang buktinya ada, tersangka korupsi. Makanya banyak orang yang tampak membela Tom Lembong karena belum ada bukti aliran dananya. Bahkan Agroseno mengatakan meragukan ijazah dari jaksa itu. Belum ada bukti, terus kebijakan terus dipidanakan. Mana ada kebijakan yang dipidanakan? Kalau gitu banyak dong para pemimpin ya, yang melakukan kebijakan yang tidak tepat, yang merugikan negara, itu bisa dipidanakan. Ya nggak, Sahabat Hendris? Tampaknya memang di negeri kita ini orang-orang yang berkualitas, berintegritas, yang punya kemampuan ya. Bagaimana, Sahabat Hendris? Mudah-mudahan kasus Tom Lembong ini terang benderang gitu ya. Yang benar itu benar, yang salah itu salah. Kita dukung pihak yang berwajib, yang berwenang untuk terus menghukum para koruptor. Jangan dipolitisir. Benar nggak, Sahabat Hendris? Dan juga ini digadang-gadang karena untuk menghambat jalannya partai Anies Baswedan, karena Tom Lembong kan salah satu bagiannya gitu ya. Ini salah satu upaya, atau ada upaya yang lain, atau ini blunder. Nggak taunya apa. Sekarang kemana-mana ini. Oke? Bahkan netizen bongkar itu jam tangannya Kejaksaan Agung ya kan. Jaksa Abdul Kohar gitu ya, jam tangannya mahal gitu ya, dan lain sebagainya. Oke, itu saja video kali ini, sahabat. Thank you for your attention. One more time, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you in the next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.